Hi, I'm Coach Nora Brooks from Ursuline Academy of St. Louis, Missouri. In today's Huddle Chalk Talk, we're going to talk about building a program with video. So basketball is an evolving sport, and I think that the best way to stay on top of the trend is to use video. So we use it at the varsity level to scout and also to break down our own team, but we've also incorporated it with our JV team to break down things individually so that way we can see areas of growth, but also focusing on things that we're doing well. I think with video, it's very easy to just look at all the things that we need to fix, but it's just as important, if not more important, to look at what we do well and really emphasize with positive reinforcement, hey, we're doing this well, we need to keep doing that. So a lot of girls on the JV team have never watched game film before. So I always try to start with something positive. I just kind of pull them aside before practice and I show them a clip of what they've done well. That's just it. So it could be 5 minutes or less where we're just showing them something that they do well, or just highlighting a good pass or good play that they made. That way we start off on a positive note. Because when you watch film, like I said, it's really easy to hone in on what's going wrong or what's negative, but it's just as important to focus on the positives. So we start small, and just right before practice while the girls are shooting, I'll bring them over my laptop and I say, hey, watch this play from last night's game or from last week's game. You did this really well. Good job. Like, this is what coach and I want you to do. So I think that's how we started off. And then once we get the whole team out of quarantine, we are going to do a big game session where we're just going to watch the first quarter. I think another thing about watching game film is that it can be very intimidating to watch a whole game and break it down in one sitting. So that's why we start small. We start with one play for each individual player. And then as a team, we're only going to watch the first quarter. So that way we know we're only watching the first quarter. We're going to focus in on what we did well and what we can improve on. And then next time we can build up and maybe watch a whole half or the second quarter. So we've been working a lot on man-to-man defense or woman-to-woman defense with the JV team. So help defense is huge when you play man. And so we have been working on helping off the ball when there's a dribble drive. So one of our point guards was guarding someone up at the top of the floor, and she stepped in to help on a dribble drive, stole the ball, then outran every single girl on the court and scored an awesome layup. So super proud, because that's exactly what we've been talking about her doing in practice. And yesterday I was able to show her, like, hey, you did this in the game Monday night. That's exactly what we want you to do. Keep doing that. I think as a coaching staff, we try to be very intentional with the relationships that we build with our players. I think for me, it's a little bit easier because I'm younger, and I'm a girl. So I'm easier for them to relate to. So they know that, like, I've played basketball and I've played at Ursuline and I've played for these coaches before. So I know what these coaches are looking for. How can I help them? So I think everybody's just as intentional, but I think my relationship might kind of have that one up because I have the experience of playing Ursuline basketball and also because I'm a younger female. I'm Coach Nora Brooks, an assistant basketball coach at Ursuline Academy in St. Louis, Missouri. And thank you for listening to my Huddle Chalk Talk. Hi, I'm Coach Nora Brooks from Ursuline Academy in St. Louis, Missouri. In today's Huddle Chalk Talk, we're going to talk about controlling the boards. All right, with both the JV and the varsity teams, I take stats during the game. Yes, we send them to Huddle Assist afterwards, but in-game stats are just as important because it helps us make decisions on the fly. So with JV, I'm looking at tips and deflections. So how many times we can get our hands in the passing lane to frustrate the other team. So that's my number one thing with JV. And then with varsity, I really look at how many offensive rebounds we give up versus how many defensive rebounds we're able to grab. So rebounds, I think, are the most important stat because I think it's the best way to represent someone's heart and hustle out on the floor. And I think this because you can grab rebounds on both ends of the floor. You can go out there and score 20 points, but if you don't rebound at all, you're just out there for offense only. So we need you on both ends of the floor, which is why I think rebounding is so important. I think it's important to look at the other team's offensive rebounds because then that shows us how many second chance opportunities we're giving them. So I just keep track of it with a little tally mark, and I put a plus on top of the tally mark if they get another shot off because of it. And our goal is always 8 offensive rebounds. So if we give up more than 8, then we know we're running the next day. So we definitely talk about it before our halftime discussion. The coaches will kind of quickly huddle and go over stats, specifically rebounds and turnovers. So we know if we're giving up a lot of offensive rebounds that maybe we want to put in kids who we know are better rebounders to kind of help make that adjustment. And then if we know a kid who averages 6+ rebounds a game is not getting any rebounds, then definitely I kind of run over to her on the bench. I'm just like, hey, this is your job out there. We need you to go do your job. So I think it's really important that each athlete understands her role on the team. And as much as we try to instill that at the beginning of the season, roles change. We've had 5 different starting lineups among the 2 teams that we've had. So JV has had 3 different starting lineups in all 3 of our games, and varsity has had 2 different starting lineups in their 2 games. So I think you have to just make sure that people understand that there is a role on the team, and then their roles might change as the season needs it to change. One thing I have noticed is that our players love to be talked to when they come off the floor. They want to know what they're doing well and what they can do differently, because no one wants to come off the floor. Everybody wants to stay on the floor. So they want to know, what am I doing well that will keep me out on the floor, or what do I need to do differently so that I can be out on the floor? I'm Coach Nora Brooks, an assistant basketball coach at Ursuline Academy in St. Louis, Missouri. And thank you for listening to my Hudl Chalk Talk.